The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the Man from Lang. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, I have a spoiler from the upcoming Edge of the Earth Investigator expansion for the Arkham Horror LCG, the first of two new expansions in Fantasy Flight Games' new release model. The Edge of the Earth Investigator expansion will feature 5 new investigators and about 250 cards to expand your deck building options, and I am thrilled to share one of those cards with you today. A big thank you to FFG for providing this spoiler. If you enjoy this type of content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely. Before I get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel for their tremendous support. The Arkham Horror LCG community is amazing, and these people have gone above and beyond to bring you the news, reviews, and playthroughs on this channel. If you'd like to support the channel and see your name on this list, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Without further ado, let's dive into today's spoiler for the Edge of the Earth Investigator expansion. Today's spoiler is Get Behind Me. It's a free level 0 Guardian event with willpower and combat skill icons and the spirit and tactic traits. It's fast, and you may play it during any free triggered ability window. Until the end of the phase, whenever an enemy would attack another investigator at your location, it attacks you instead, then engages you. Cancel 1 horror dealt by each attack made this way. Honestly, I'm probably the wrong player to talk about this card. Firstly, I play mostly solo, and Get Behind Me is only playable in multiplayer. And second, when I do play multiplayer, I usually don't play the Guardian as the selfless protector archetype, which this card very much lends itself to. Long story short, it's highly unlikely that I will ever play this card. However, there are a lot of players out there who enjoy playing Guardians or off-class Guardians in multiplayer, so let's see how Get Behind Me stacks up against the other engagement options in the Guardian card pool. There are 4 level 0 cards in the Guardian card pool that enable an investigator to engage an enemy. Taunt from the Dunwich Legacy Deluxe expansion, Let Me Handle This from the Path to Carcosa Deluxe expansion, Heroic Rescue from the Echoes of the Past Mythos pack, and Get Over Here from the Nathaniel Cho starter deck. Taunt is an event with the tactic trait that costs 1 resource. It's fast, but you may only play it during your turn to engage any number of enemies at your location. It doesn't matter whether the enemies are elite, non-elite, or aloof, they're all coming to you. Fortunately, the enemies don't attack you when you engage them. The oldest card of the 4 on this list, Taunt has seen a lot of play in a wide variety of investigators over the years. Investigators looking for an upgrade can purchase Taunt 2, which is also available in the Dunwich Legacy Deluxe expansion, or Taunt 3 from the Nathaniel Cho starter deck. Let Me Handle This is free, fast, and has the spirit trait. Guardians and off-class Guardians may play this card after another investigator draws an elite or non-elite enemy during the Mythos phase to take that enemy off their hands. The beauty of Let Me Handle This is that you don't even have to be at that investigator's location when they draw the enemy. It's little wonder that Let Me Handle This has become a staple in Guardian decks in multiplayer because its power and flexibility are hard to beat. Heroic Rescue is an event with the spirit and tactic traits that costs 1 resource. It's fast, and you play it when a non-elite enemy would attack another investigator at your location. You engage that enemy and resolve its attack against you, then deal it 1 damage. Heroic Rescue doesn't see a lot of play because of cards like Let Me Handle This, which allows a Guardian like Mark Harrigan to pull any enemy off another investigator anywhere on the table without being attacked. While Guardian investigators like Mark have health to spare, their sanity is much more fragile, which makes the prospect of being attacked by agents of the Mythos much less appealing. Heroic Rescue is also limited to attacks against investigators at your location, which isn't ideal if investigators want to spread out. Heroic Rescue 2 from the Point of No Return Mythos pack does fix that problem. Get Over Here is an event with the spirit and tactic trait that costs 2 resources. Unlike the other cards on this list, Get Over Here is not fast. However, it does let you choose a non-elite enemy at your location or a connecting location, which is a big plus if your group likes to spread out. You then move that enemy to your location, engage it, and attack it, which is like taking 3 actions for the price of 1. Get Over Here is a little pricier than the other cards on this list, but it does have the potential to generate significant action advantage, which is great. That brings us back to Get Behind Me. In terms of templating, Get Behind Me has a lot in common with Heroic Rescue, which does not bode well for the card's playability. Get Behind Me is free though, and free cards are always nice, especially for resource-starved Guardians. Both cards have willpower and combat skill icons, and the spirit and tactic traits, which synergize with cards such as Calvin Wright, Boxing Gloves, and Stick to the Plan. If you play Heroic Rescue, you will engage one non-elite enemy. If you play Get Behind Me, you'll engage every elite and non-elite enemy that attempts to attack an investigator at your location until the end of the phase. I'm not entirely certain how many attacks I would be willing to take after playing Get Behind Me. Mark Harrigan is no stranger to coming under enemy fire, but even he may balk at taking more than 1 or 2 attacks during a phase, especially if those enemies have the potential to attack him again during the enemy phase. All that damage that you're going to take is bound to add up fast. Heroic Rescue allows you to deal 1 damage to the enemy after it attacks you, which can kill weak enemies outright and soften up bigger threats. Heroic Rescue is an event that deals damage, so Nathaniel Cho can squeeze a little more out of it, bumping the damage to 2. One of the good things about Get Behind Me is that it does attempt to solve one of the big problems with Heroic Rescue, and that is by cancelling 1 horror dealt by each attack. That is very helpful for Guardians like Mark Harrigan who tend to have below average sanity. There aren't that many enemies in the game that dish out more than 1 horror, so Guardians like Mark can safely soak the damage, or better yet, pass that damage along to their trusty guard dog without worrying about going insane. Unfortunately, Get Behind Me also shares one of Heroic Rescue's biggest weaknesses, that is, the card only targets investigators at your location. If a Guardian gets separated from the weaker members of their group, Get Behind Me won't do them much good. Heroic Rescue 2 from the Point of No Return Mythos pack does solve this problem, and I suspect that we will see an upgrade for Get Behind Me at some point down the road that includes that, or at a connecting location clause. I am curious as to whether Get Behind Me will synergize with Daniela Reyes, the mechanic who is the Guardian Investigator in the Edge of the Earth Investigator expansion. She is pictured on the card after all, so I wouldn't be surprised if Daniela is able to squeeze a little extra juice out of Get Behind Me, much like Nathaniel Cho gives Heroic Rescue a boost. That's going to do it for my look at Get Behind Me. Like I said at the top of this video, it's highly unlikely that I'll play this card anytime soon. However, it does give combat-oriented Guardians and off-class Guardians another way to pull a lot of enemies off of other investigators without putting their sanity at risk, which has always been a big issue. If Guardians receive a few more cards like Guard Dog and Survival Knife, which reward investigators for being attacked, Get Behind Me does have the potential to shine. Who knows, perhaps Daniela Reyes will have an ability that encourages that style of play, which would give Get Behind Me a boost. The big question is whether Get Behind Me can knock off a staple like Let Me Handle This in multiplayer decks. That seems highly unlikely given the power and flexibility of Let Me Handle This. Get Behind Me is a lot more situational than its predecessor from the Path to Carcosa Deluxe expansion, and I'm not really sold on the idea of being attacked multiple times during a phase simply to engage a lot of enemies without being able to leverage some additional benefit, such as the damage from Guard Dog or the additional attack from Survival Knife. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromlang@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromlang. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.